So now we have to talk about the big box of bullshit, okay? So the big box of bullshit is is this sort of like horrific, covert system of lies that gets told to women when they come to this like 3D plane reality, right? And agree to be like, okay, I guess I'm going to be here on this planet as a woman. My soul is going to come here and be in this body. It's like when you shoot out your mom's birth canal, or like they pull you C-section wise. I watch a lot of Grey's Anatomy. Everybody's getting C-sections on that show. When they pull you out of there, it's like you get handed the big box of bullshit, and it's not any kind of bullshit. It is patriarchal bullshit. Even more specifically, it's white cis hetero patriarchal bullshit, right? And these 4 lies, which you might be familiar with, right? Because you came to my new workshop, these 4 lies that we take on and we believe and we buy into correlate directly to the places in our lives where we attempt to access false power. So I'm going to dig right into these because we don't have any time to waste. But we need to see through these 4 lies if we want to access more authentic innate power. Okay, and these won't be unfamiliar to you. I promise you will identify with at least one, if not all of them, to some degree. So lie number 1, are you ready for it? In order to be a valuable, worthy woman, you need to have the perfect body. So I'm going to come out really quick and we're just going to chat about this, because this is not an unfamiliar concept, right? That like if you are a woman, you are being held to a very specific and conventional beauty standard. It's a Eurocentric white beauty standard. It's a specific and yet also ever-changing body type, right? Like people talk about back in like the 1900s, it's like if you were a little bit of like a thicker woman, right? And you were like really pale, it was like, oh my God, what a flippin' flappin' hottie. Right? And nowadays, and then like when I was growing up in the 90s, it was like Kate Moss, they called it like heroin chic was like the ideal, right? And now it's like, oh, do you have like a peach booty, right? Like, you know, so it's like, it's an ever moving kind of target that women are supposed to somehow magically match themselves to. Okay. So, where are some of the places where you feel that you have seen this lie be presented to you in one way or another? And I want you to even think back really early to like your early days of like just making sense of the world and noting like how the world worked, like who told you or what, where was it modeled for you that there were expectations for what you were supposed to look like? Jane, I had to do weigh-ins before dance class in college, right? Social media, TV, movies, exercise, my mom, how we sell products. It started with my father, Barbie, the media, mom, right? Remember what I was saying about like all of our role models are users too, right? Like this is like a mother to daughter chain of pain that gets passed down and passed down and passed down. Yeah, Weight Watchers, commercials, rom-coms, right? It's like, it's kind of freaking everywhere. So the really extra fucked up thing about this is that your body contains so much of your innate feminine wisdom. Like what's happening in here on a feeling and sensing and knowing level, your body is designed to give you so much useful, juicy, genius information all the fucking time. Who's here had the experience of being out somewhere, right? And like someone approaches you or your friend introduces you to somebody and you get a weird feeling, right? And you can't place your finger on it. You don't know what it is exactly, but you have this sense of like, something's not right with this person, or something's not right with this party, or something's weird about this Uber driver. Now, if we lived in a society that completely valued and trusted feminine power, we would go, oh, my intuition's speaking to me. My knowing is telling me something. I want to be responsive to that. I want to be responsible for that information. When we are conditioned out of being in our bodies and we learn to relate to our bodies externally as something that we need to fix, as something that is here to be like taken in, right? Like the feminist, feminist like philosophical theory. It's like the masculine gaze of like, oh, I just exist here to like look a certain way, to like please men or satisfy the patriarchy in some way. When we're not in our bodies, we don't trust the information that she gives us. Have you ever had the experience of being hungry and you thought, well, I shouldn't eat because I really like, I could afford not to take in the calories? Like, we reject the most basic biological information and sensations that get delivered to us. So if I won't even pay attention when my body's like, hey, I'm tired, hey, I'm hungry, hey, I'm thirsty, if I won't even listen to her when she's like, hey, we need to like take a nap, or we need to stretch, or we need to get some fucking sun because you've been inside all day, or whatever it might be, why would I listen to this like invisible intuitive knowing? Right? But your intuition is here to guide you, to give you information, to empower you, to show you things, to help you understand yourself and the world in a deeper way than just what is on the external surface level, right? So like this lie of like, you need to have the perfect body. If you don't have it, you better figure out how to get it, right? And it's going to involve like some type of like intense workout program, or yeah, you need to like cut carbs or not eat sugar, or, you know, get like ass implants or whatever it might be. Like when we are constantly relating to our bodies and our image from the outside in as like, oh, I am this package that needs to look a certain way, present a certain way, we can't actually be in our lived experience. We can't feel what we're feeling. We can't know what we know. We can't access intuitive information and insight because we're living in opposition to this whole thing, right? I'm like, I don't trust this. I don't even like her. She's got rolls. She's got a muffin top. I mean, these are things, right, that have happened in my head before. So I want you to, like, if there is, let's just be brutally honest for a second, okay? Like radical self-honesty. Who here, even though they know better, still has a story about themselves that like, well, I just need to lose the weight? Whether it's like 5 pounds, whether it's 10 pounds, whether it's 30 pounds, whether it's 100 pounds. Who here is just like, even though you know diet culture has been swindling you, right? And yeah, and that like, oh, I was told I need to look like a Victoria's Secret model, but I don't actually, yeah. So this is how good the patriarchy programs and conditions us. Is like, we know it, but there's still this part of us that's like, no, but if I just do it, though, if I can just be a size X, things are going to be so much better. Men will find me more attractive. I'll feel better about myself, right? Now here's where things get really tricky though, okay? And I was going to go through this like in a little bit, but I actually want to just like name it right now. Something else that is happening, which is exciting, but also potentially problematic, okay, is that once we start identifying sources of false power, right, we go like, oh, you're telling me that my body needs to look a certain way, and I am like treating that like it's this holy grail thing, and I need to stop doing that. We will then do this thing that we do where we swing really hard in the other direction and we go like, well, fuck you, patriarchal beauty standards. I'm going to look how I want to look and be how I want to be. And I'm going to let my body do what I want to do. And I don't care if I gain like, 200 pounds, like this is just like what I'm going to do. Right. Or like I've worked with women before who shared with me, these were their words, not mine. Like, oh, I let myself go because like they were sick of trying to hold themselves to some type of standard. That is also a form of false power, because that's just you flipping the bird and being like, I refuse to go in this direction where the patriarchy wants me to go, so I'm just going to go in this direction. If you're just running away from the thing that owns you, it still owns you. Like, then you're also not rooted in like what your authentic truth is. I have seen this play out even more. Are you with me so far? Are we going too fast? Is this making sense? Okay, cool. I'm seeing a lot of nodding heads. Awesome. So I see this like pendulum swing thing, right? Like where we just run in the other direction. Camilla, I love like your emojis. Like, I don't know how to do that, but I'm like obsessed. I'm like, thank you. Please just keep giving me all these positive emojis. Okay. So I see this, right? The pendulum swing thing. Going back to my little presentation-y, Tage. Even more so with line number 2, which will be very familiar, especially even with like involved with my work for a long time. In order to be a valuable, worthy woman, you need to be married to a man. Right? If you want to be whole, what do you need to do? You better get some dude to get on his knee and propose to you. And you better like walk down the aisle in a white dress, right? And you better be like fucking, you got to get wifed up. You want to be a valuable, worthy woman? Can't do that on your own, right? So again, coming out to just talk this through for a second. This is one of the ones I will say, like, I've been talking about this one for years, so it's like not that surprising to people at this point. But this like drive and this need and this push for like, I need someone to choose me is part of the trap. If I don't believe that I'm whole by myself, if I don't know how to access love, choosability, worthiness on my own, I'm going to go looking for that in one of these patriarchal conditioned dudes. Like, whoa, tall order. So, and this is what we do, right? Is like the trajectory for most women that I've worked with is like, we start off like, it's like, we really have like, the blinders are completely on. And we're just like, yeah, I gotta get a man. I need a man. I was the boy craziest teenager of all fucking time, ladies. Like, I need a man, gotta get a man, gotta have him. He's gotta pick me. I want that one. That's the one that I want. I don't even care if he doesn't want me. I don't care if he's got all these problems. That's great. I'll fix him with my love. It's gonna be fantastic. It's like thirsty, codependent, anxious, insecure, needy as fuck, right? We're like, then we circle the drain, and we circle the drain, and we circle the drain. We get him. We realize, oh shit, this ain't it. Oh, this is so not it. This is so not it. It like hurts, right? And like we do it with somebody else, we circle the drain, we do it with somebody else, we circle the drain. Finally, we wake up and we're like, whoa, wait a second. I keep, like looking for the love and the worth and the value and the wholeness and the fulfillment and the happiness. I keep looking for that everywhere. Why do I do that? You know what I will do? I will become an independent woman. I will not need anyone ever. I will be womanzilla. Fuck off, dudes. I swipe left on all of you unworthy mofos. That's the pendulum swing. Again, it's like the patriarchy told me I need a man, so now I decide I don't need one. Okay? Also not authentic. Also not authentic. So this is why false power is super fucking tricky, because it's the things that you attach yourself to as part of your identity, okay, to either assimilate yourself to patriarchal conditioning and programming. I'm a wife. Wives are good people. I love my husband. I do what good wives do. Right? Like, oh, I'm the little Stepford person. Yeah. I love my life. It's fantastic. I fit in. Everything's fine all the time. I voted for Trump in 2016 and I have no weird feelings about it. Like, it's like assimilating yourself, or we go like, fuck that. I'm not about any of that. I don't want any of that. I don't need to be a wife. I don't even care about getting a ring on my finger. I don't need love. It's like, what the fuck? And I can tell you again from like working with so many women, that is the trajectory. And then if we're lucky, we get to a point where we realize again that it's like, oh, this like false power that I've accessed from like telling myself that I can just be an island and be an individual and that I never have to like connect with anybody and I don't have to like, it's like we get to a point where we realize like that's not it either. And this is why, like, one of the things coming into this call was I was like, do you feel like you've done all the things? Do you feel like you've done all the therapy and read all the books and watched the Brene Brown Netflix thing and like probably like, I don't know, you had some kind of chakra clearing shit and it still didn't work and you're still confused? It's because the only models that we have for power are either I accept the system or I reject the system, right? I accept it or I reject it. And it's like it's this ping pong match that we just slingshot back and forth and back and forth. And none of that is rooted in your authentic power. Because none of that is rooted in actually like a real understanding of like your heart and how you love and how to be loved in a way that actually serves and supports your feminine system. We don't understand a feminine system. Also, something to understand about the feminine is that she is the all. She is like the everything. She is everything and she's nothing. She is like pure paradox, right? And that's really confusing again to an aspect of our patriarchal conditioning, which tells us, look, it's like either a yes or it's a no. It's binary. It's black or it's white. It's always or it's never. Right? You either accept or you reject the system. And it's like there is this other option where it's like we just see through it all. So instead of it being this thing that I'm slingshotting back and forth between, we just go, oh, actually, none of that's me. None of that's me. All this like weird, like learned ideas about who I have to be and who I need to not be in order to be like loved or accepted or valued or worthy or chosen and all that stuff. Like, oh, none of that's me. None of that's you. This is why it's so tricky if you're like an empowered woman. Like, this is a question that I have with myself. I'm like, Amy, why do you still wear mascara? Like, really, what is it though? Like why do I still like wear the makeup and why do I like having like certain things? And the only answer that I can come down to at this point is because I just like it. Right? And that is like one of the most powerful places a woman can start to access some of her innate power is just to understand like what is true for you for right now. Not because it's for someone else or not because it's like to beef yourself up or to access some form of like power or fulfillment or whatever, but it's like maybe this is just where you are and what you like right now. And maybe this is just how you are right now. And maybe that's enough. Right? But it's like we really have a hard time as women being able to just sit with the truth of like, oh, well, this is just what I feel and this is just what I know and this is just what's true for me. And I don't have to explain it. Right? I don't have to justify it. A little bit of a tangent there. So we're steamrolling through these, but we're going to keep going, right? Lie number 3. Okay. In order to be a valuable, worthy woman, you need to have a powerful career. Make bank, baby. Get paid. Have other people like be jealous of what a bad boss bitch you are. Right? So this is what, I don't want to open a whole can of worms, but this is what feminism attempted to accomplish. Right? Because like and I should say white feminism, because what white feminism tried to do was white feminism recognized, oh, you just think that we're like a body, that we're just like this pretty thing that's here for you, right? Like that's you just here for your like visual pleasure and that you can just like that and we're just, yeah, that I need to look a certain way or act a certain way so that I can be palatable to you. I'm more than just like a body or a pretty face. You think that I'm just like a wife, right? Or that like, oh, I'm just here to be a homemaker. I'm not. I can be just like you, men. I can have like a powerful career. I can go into the office every day. I have a brain and ideas and things. Now, here's the deal. All of that is completely true. All of that, once again, has nothing to do with feminine power. That has to do with masculine power and patriarchal power, where profit and achievement and productivity and getting shit done, right, is like the name of the game. Feminine power does not measure itself against productivity, achievement, profit. None of that is feminine power, right? So what happened when, and I'm not saying that women shouldn't have entered the workforce. I'm not saying that a woman working or being passionate. I'm wildly ambitious and driven and passionate. But once again, the issue is when we start to attach our worth and value to it. And this is the conversation that happens now, where it's like, I've worked with women before who like were going through were going through a divorce and going back into the workplace. And they were like, I've just been like a homemaker for the past like 6 years. And the shame that that carried for them. So it's like, again, you have to look at it. It's like this flippy floppy thing where like there was a period in time in our history, right, where it's like, a woman in the workplace, you should be at home. You should be making a Jello mold. Shouldn't you be like taking care of little Timmy all the time? You're in the workforce. Like that was how we shamed women. Now we just shame women for like, you know, just being stay-at-home moms or just working from home. It's like, do you see the ways in which you cannot win when you're opted into the system? You cannot win. If you're trying to attach your value, your worth, or your power to one of these like external forces, one of these lies, you're going to be disappointed every time. Not just because other people will have judgments about you, but because you're chasing after something that exists outside of you. And the feminine exists in what is internal. It's inside out. That's how we live. Inside out, inside out, inside out. Not outside in, outside in, outside in. So again, like a little bit paradoxical, but it's like, this is not to say that you can't have a powerful career, that you can't be married and completely empowered as a woman, that you can't love like, you know, working out or striving for a certain physique or whatever it might be. But do you attach your value and your worth and your power to it? And the way that you know that you're buying into one of these lies is if it got taken away from you, what would happen to you? Would you still know who you are? Would you still feel valuable, worthy, powerful? Would you still feel like a good woman? Would you still feel like you? Because if the answer is no, it's false power. And the way that this works, if you are a person who's here for growth, expansion, evolution, if you're a seeker, your soul will not let you buy into this shit. You'll get it, and the universe will take it away to wake you up. Who here has had an experience like that, right? Where it's like the thing that it's like, oh my God, I really need this. I got to have this. We attach our worth and our value and our power to it. And then it gets taken away from us. And we're like, oh my God, it's like the world is like crumbling beneath my feet. Oh, look, like I attached myself to this thing. And I thought that that was what made me powerful. And it's not. Now that it's gone, I get to access a different form of power. Exciting stuff. So lie number 4, are you ready? This is the grand finale. In order to be a valuable, worthy woman within a patriarchal system, you need to bear children and be a mother. Right? Like, hello? What are you just gonna like let those ovaries go to waste? What are you, crazy? And this is another great example of like where we do the pendulum swing thing, where it's like now there's this whole category of women who are like choosing not to have kids. And they're like, I'm not having kids and I'm really proud about it. And it's like, okay, let's like simmer down a fucking notch. Right? Like I get where that like fire comes from. And I can understand why people are like pissed off about these lies and about being told how to live and like, You know, why there's this need to like assert that it's like, I'm not going to go that way anymore. But I'm also like, you know, you could just be like, you could just make your choices and not need to defend them. That's an option too. So, this is one of the reasons why I love one of my favorite populations of women to work with are single mothers, because very often single moms have gone through these cycles, right? It's like you've seen through everything that there is to see through, right? Because of course, once you have the baby, what do you need to worry about next? What happens? Which lie then starts taking precedence again? Oh, you just had a baby? Better get your body back, babe. Right? So it's like, oh, wait, I'm just back to square one now? I just need to get, it's like the most exhausting, insane circle jerk of fuckery. That's a technical term that we just, if gone unchecked, we will just submit to it. And we will just like let it run our GD existences. So the work becomes, again, the work becomes about noticing in terms of how you relate to your life. How much energy, attention, focus, and life force is getting caught up in one or more of these lies? Where have you told yourself, I need to have X so I can be Y? I need to get married so I can be settled and happy. I need to have a baby so I can feel fulfilled. I need to make a lot of money so I can be free. Where are you caught in one of those traps? Where are you sucked into one of those lies? Because what that is it's like a form of hypnosis that the patriarchy puts over women, right? Where it's like, oh, don't pay any attention to what's over there. Just keep hanging out over here, chasing flat abs, right? Oh, that feeling that you have, that like, you want to like go, you want to like, you know, love yourself and feel more at peace with who you are. Well, you know what you should do? Get a promotion. Like, it's like this creepy patriarchal ghoul who like comes in and like wants to try and convince you that you are not enough as you are. And I'm here being like, oh no, you're actually like way more than enough just as you are. But what ends up happening, and some of you might even be feeling this a little bit, right, is that when we think about like unfollowing or unsubscribing from the 4 lies, there's this question of like, well, what am I left with? Right? Like if I'm not chasing after a man or a partner, right? If I'm not trying to make a lot of money, if I'm not obsessed with getting my body in shape, if I'm not like hanging on to the holy grail of motherhood, like what is the purpose of my existence exactly? And this is where we start to get in touch with like the foundation of feminine power is just your capacity and ability to be. Your existence is your power.